This is One-on-One. Peter Rooney is the chair of the New Jersey Sharing Network Foundation Board. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
We are pleased to be partners with the New Jersey Sharing Network. And we've been talking to some folks about this very important issue of organ and tissue donation. Talk about this from your perspective. By the way, throughout the entire program, you're going to see the New Jersey Sharing Network website up. Go on the website, find out important information. This series is dedicated to dealing with the myths, the misconceptions, and giving out important information about this issue. You have a personal connection. You're not just the chair, but you have a personal connection. Explain it.
I do, yes. In 2001, my father, who was a diabetic patient for most of his life, he experienced renal failure, chronic kidney disease. And he had troubles, and ultimately, speaking to his nephrologist, we learned that he would need dialysis and ultimately a transplant.
Is that your dad we're looking
to
at right
sustain
there?
his life. That's my dad. Yeah, it's us out fishing, right? So, you know, we had a love for many things, and you know, unfortunately, in 2001, when we became sick and went on dialysis, dialysis affects people in many different ways, emotionally and physically, and it's a tough time. And what we learned at that time when he would need a transplant is that my dad was very special, right? My dad was a blood type O negative, which
O negative,
which meant he was a universal donor. He could give to anybody, but he could only receive from other O negatives, which ruled out donation from anybody in his family. So we had to go the route of donation and look for and hope and pray for answers.
What did your dad do for a living?
He was a firefighter, Milburn firefighter for 32 years.
Saving other people's lives.
Saving other people's lives. On the job, they called my father the Book. They called him that because he liked to work at the dispatch station and answer the phone and receive the call for help from others.
Right.
So he spent his time.
We're looking at pictures from place he worked, right?
That's it. You know, him and his platoon would be there, and you know, they get the call to help others. Like any first responder, they'd race off to help people that they didn't know, that were in harm's way, and many times facing life and death circumstances.
Right.
And you know, unfortunately, after a number of years on dialysis and being on the waiting list, my father's call for help went unanswered.
There was no donor that matched up with your dad.
My dad, unfortunately, didn't progress, you know, the way that he needed to. The donor, you know, there was no match. We ran out of time for my father, unfortunately.
What impact did that have on you in terms of your connecting with this organization, the Sharing Network?
Well, I wanted to do more. You know, when we found out that my dad needed a kidney and we couldn't donate ourselves, I wanted to reach out. I looked for organizations and found New Jersey Sharing Network. I reached out to them. I went to the organization and said, how can I get involved? Help me understand, and what can I do? And they welcomed me with open arms. It's a tremendous organization, nonprofit organization, and their mission is to save and enhance lives. This is my father's work, saving and enhancing lives. And I thought, what better way to help him and help others than to join this organization? So I was very fortunate, and the staff allowed me to bring me on as a volunteer, train me, and then sent me out to help spread word of their mission.
That's what you're doing right now. A couple of programs I want to talk about there. High School Heroes, what is that?
Well, we have over 400 volunteers in central and northern New Jersey, and we activate them in a number of different programs. Portion of those go into the high schools. We help fulfill the state mandate on educating high school students about organ donation. We've recently extended that to colleges as well. And really the high school and college age folks are really ambassadors of our message in helping us getting the word out there.
What are some of the most common myths, Peter, about organ and tissue donation that we need to dispel right now?
There are a lot of myths out there. I think the one that I hear all the time is, if I'm an organ donor, they're not going to save me, or they're not going to put medical treatment to work for me. And that's not true. And in fact, you know, the surgery, the team that is working on the critically ill patient is separate from the transplant team. And in fact, they do everything that they can to preserve that person. And to be able to give the gift of life is very rare. That's why it's important for us to get the message out there.
Speaking of getting the message out there, I remember our senior producer of this series, Jackie Cook is also a reporter, went out there for the 5K New Jersey Sharing Network race, and we're actually going to show some video. Jackie did a great report. It's one of the first times we really got to see the enthusiasm at the race, and you raised a fair amount of money for the organization as well. As we're seeing the video of this race, talk about why it's so important.
This is a tremendous event, and it's unlike any other 5K run, walk event. It's a celebration of life, first of all.
A celebration of life.
Celebration of life. It's a collection of donors, donor recipients, family, friends, who all come together. This past year, we were very fortunate. We had over 6,000 friends, family.
6,000?
6,000 people this year. We raised over $750,000.
Well, where do these people come from? And who are they that they would come to this one day to celebrate?
We have a lot of special people in our family.
And they all want to be a part of this.
They do. They do. I think, you know, as I mentioned, we have a lot of people who are connected to the cause. And I think the people that inspire me the most are the donor families. They come here, they share their stories. These are people who have lost their loved ones, mothers, fathers, children. And they are passionate about the cause and celebrating life so that the people that they lost can be remembered. It's really motivating.
You know what's so interesting to me, Peter? It's often said that it isn't just what happens to us that matters, it's how we choose to deal with it. You didn't necessarily have to after you lost your dad. You know, obviously you had a very close connection. You just look at your pictures together and you can see, you talked about fishing just being one of the things you shared together. You didn't have to do what you did. You chose to do what you did. What you do with it is what matters most. What do you think you owed your dad? What you owe your dad today?
You know, I look at it as I'm continuing his work. I'm continuing helping other people, and that's what he devoted his life to. And at the New Jersey Sharing Network, I'm able to continue that mission.
How rewarding?
Oh, it's exceptional. The people that I meet, right? When I look into a face of a mother of a 10-year-old son who had a heart transplant, and she looks at him, or I see you know, someone who, you know, giving at one of our talks, who received a liver, and he tells a story about looking around at his Thanksgiving room table, right, at his family, and he gets to be there. That's priceless.
We are honored to be your partners. Be your partner. Peter Rooney, Chair, New Jersey Sharing Network Foundation Board. We look forward to continue to help. The cause goes on. Okay?
Thank you.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by New Jersey's credit unions, the New Jersey Education Association, New Jersey Natural Gas, United Water, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.